From PlebLab in Austin, Texas, this is Stacker News Live!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Stacker News Live. I'm Car, and I'm with Keyan.
Oh, yeah. That's me. I'm Keyan.
This guy.
Hey, oh.
Can you believe it? He's in the flesh.
I can believe it. I have flesh.
Yeah, flesh. God's
What's up?
flesh. How was your week, Keyan?
How was my week? My week was good. I launched, finally deployed Booger, which is like my Nostr relay. That was cool. That was fun to do. And I've been working a lot on the new Stacker News algorithm.
Whoa,
which
really?
I'm really excited about because it's so good.
What's up with that? What's going on with that?
Well, we use like an algorithm to determine whether a user is trustworthy or not. And so I've gone through 4 iterations of it. Really, the first version of Stacker News, everyone was equally trusted. Then the next version, I used Web of Trust. Then I modified that to use some statistical stuff to make it so that if you don't have much interaction on the site, we can kind of reason about what your future interactions might be. Nice. And then the next version after that added zaps. Like weighting by zaps. If you zap more, stuff ranks higher. And now I'm using a model that spits out trust graph for every user. So like Car has his own unique perspective. I have my own unique perspective. Any other Stacker News user has their own unique perspective, and it works well. Like it works already like my unique perspective is already better as a result of the algorithm, because there's also additionally improvements to the way the algorithm works. Anyways, so I'm really excited about that, and I'm hopefully going to ship that next week.
Dude, next week. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I don't know, maybe I'm biased, but when I go to Stacker News on my phone now that I stopped using the BSATs one. It's just not usable anymore. So I use the Stacker News. I use the Stacker News one.
Yeah.
It works really good. Zekas did a good job. But yeah, I love my feed.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. It's not bad. It just, the new algorithm makes it like, I would say 2 times better as is. And then it will make, when we start having more subs and user generated subs, it'll get really, it'll be a huge improvement. It'll be 10 to 100 times better than the current algorithm.
I will say one of my top stories this week is a meta post. So that's where I'm kind of like, I guess I do like more meta stuff. People that's kind of weird. That's interesting.
People do like meta stuff.
A little insight.
What is? Oh, I see that one. Okay.
Oh yeah, I can't show the stackers yet. We're doing the top.
I know. Yeah, it's a secret. People are posting stuff in meta that are supposed to only be about Stacker News, but I think we don't have good we don't really describe very well.
Okay, we can get into that at the end of the show. But if this is your first time watching Stacker News, these are the top 5 posts of the week on Stacker News, voted by the stackers. Me and Keyan don't mess with this. It's just whatever is there. Usually we do it at like 3, 4. We look at the top 5.
Yeah, usually at 4.
Yeah, 4. Yeah. So we take the top 5 from the top 4, or top 5 from at 4. and then I pick a post, he picks a post, and we call it a day. That's what we do here on Stacker News Live.
Yeah, sometimes Car picks 3 or 4 posts.
Well, this week I had 2 posts, but it's okay. Sometimes I don't have any post stackers. Think about that.
Yeah.
Okay. This week's top 5 stories are I think they're really cool. This first one is a basic guide to making the switch to Graphene OS. This is 16,800 sats, 34 comments from Siggy47 tech post.
Yeah. So Siggy has been talking about like de-Googling himself for a while. And last week he's every week I feel like he's in the top
Does
5.
Great post, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quality work.
Last week he hated Apple, and this is kind of a continuation of that. And now, he also appears to also be hating Google, mostly on the spyware side. So he switched to using Graphene, and he kind of helps us understand what might be what you might go through when you switch to Graphene, and why you might want to do it, kind of sharing his own motivations. But overall, it's I had no idea what it would entail, because I actually haven't looked into this, because I'm I'm kind of a
iPhone.
one-track mind type of person, and I just use the iPhone, and that's okay. But it's pretty cool to learn a little bit more about graphene and some of the security they offer, and how you can still maybe interact with the normal ecosystem. And then, I also wondered about the phone choice thing, and it appears you are somewhat limited on the phone choice, but the Pixel phones are pretty good. So.
You mentioned a really interesting thing in there. I don't know if you saw it, and I didn't know this. Good thing I waited, because I'm kind of the same situation as you. Like I'm already thinking like making the switch over. Like I'm moving towards that here, hopefully by the end of the summer. But one of the things he did mention was about the unlock thing. Did you see that? Where is that located at? He was basically saying that make sure you get the right unlock, because you might just be having like a carrier unlocked, but not an actual like Google unlocked, if that makes sense.
Right.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep. Yeah.
So he brings that up in the thing. Definitely read it if you're thinking about switching, because that was something I had no idea. I thought that was the same thing. Turns out it's not. New Llama said a couple of interesting apps: Florist Board, customizable open source keyboard, habits tracker, define and track your habits, runner up, open source run tracker with support for heart monitors, and an Aegis, an open source 2-step authenticator. That's kind of cool. So really good post, man. Love seeing this.
He's one of the best doing original content. We have another couple, I think 1 or 2 more original content posts that are in the top this week.
What is going to take you to move over to something like this, like graphene? I know Jack had said something on Nostr that he was thinking about. They're looking into this. Block is looking into.
Well, Jack is my daddy, and so I do everything Jack does.
Well, I'm just saying, like Bitcoiners are thinking about the phone. We're talking about the phone. We've been talking about phones for 2 years.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it'd be interesting to try it out. I used to use Google. I went from an Apple phone at one point to a Google phone, and I was using Pixel. It was unlocked. I didn't do any like graphene stuff on it, but I was happy with it. And then it just broke. I think it was in Las Vegas. I was drunk, and it like dropped on the ground, and it just wouldn't even. It was like bricked. And then I switched back to Apple stuff. But maybe it's time to go back and get a little more private. I don't really do much on my phone. It's like browser.
It's interesting because like with me, I think the only thing that locked me in was iMessage. And now I find myself not using iMessage as much as I used to. And that was a thing where I went to Google and then came back because of iMessage. Because it was so bad.
A lot of my friends who would complain about iMessage and wanted everyone on iMessage. Many of them are using Signal now.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I realized is like, that's where, well, all right. That's the first top story. The second top story is solving the Bitcoin adoption dilemma. This is from Carl B. Menger, June 29th, 25 comments, 10,800 sats. It's a Bitcoin post. This is a good one.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's mostly, more Carl B. Menger, I think might've been the person to coin the phrase spend and replace. I'm not sure. Might have picked it up somewhere else, but this is more or less like just reinforcing the spend and replace mantra. Kind of get, if you're, what's nice about Carly Menger is he'll weave in kind of more classic points about Bitcoin through while introducing also like a new point of view. So here he introduced Gresham's law to someone who maybe is not familiar, which is this kind of good money shoves out bad type of thing. But it kind of just talks about spending Bitcoin, the experience you might have when spending, why you might want to spend Bitcoin, what it might do for Bitcoin, his own experience spending Bitcoin. Had a great post a while ago about being in El Salvador. I think he also followed it up with a trip to, I think it was Colombia. I'm not sure. Might have been a nearby
he's been
country.
doing a couple of these posts where he like reports back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But this seems to be more of like a summary of his experience on spend and replace. And overall it was very fun to read. And
you got Sampa in the comments. He's down here. Yeah. It's like all these emojis. I don't know. It says great insight. Since we are the Bitcoiners calling ourselves Bitcoin informed, spend and replace is a way to orange pill new entrepreneurs to be Bitcoin informed and Bitcoin prepared.
I think spending Spending seems to be the most effective way to orange pill someone that I found.
It's just fun.
It's fun. It's efficient. It's fun for the person receiving it. It's like, okay, I have this like weird money now, this thing that's worth something. It's like someone hands you, I don't know, like a rock, and they say there's like a diamond inside of it. You just have to figure out how to open it up.
Yeah. It's fun because me and Super were talking about it yesterday. We were hanging out, and he was sending me sats, and it's just fun to send sats, dude.
Fun.
Lightning's fun, dude.
It is. It's fun.
It's difficult, but it's fun.
It's fun
at the very least.
It's fun especially when you realize that it can work without there being anyone in between. When you use Cash App, you're using Cash App servers, and Cash App could be like, no. But when you and Super are sending Bitcoin to each other non-custodially,
it's fun.
There's no one there but you two. It's you awesome. And then like a decentralized network.
This is where I don't know with the AI stuff. I don't know. Maybe it'll start implementing Lightning stuff, but it's going to be hard. I don't think AI doesn't feel fun to me. It feels like I'm learning things, but it doesn't feel as fun. Maybe you'll get there. But
you enjoy using AI, right? You see it as useful.
I enjoy it as much as I used to enjoy Google, which I don't enjoy anymore.
Okay. So it's
the search engine. I mean,
yeah. So
it's just as useful as Google used to be back in the day. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember. So Bitcoin has a fun edge, while AI is strictly just useful. It's not very fun. It's kind of,
at least for right now. Maybe I'll get there.
Yeah.
The next top story is, what 10-plus-year-old tech are you still using? This is from No Account, 95 comments, 4,228 cents. This is a tech post. Man, I like the posts this week. They're very light.
Yeah. This was a big thickie in terms of discussion. Got 95 comments. But there's, a lot of us hold on to tech for a while, and cases where the tech is built well, you can keep using it for way longer than you might have expected to. But he lists out some of the stuff he's using, like headphones and a Switch and an Xbox and his keyboard. He has a 1984 keyboard. That's
awesome.
Kind of amazing.
What's the oldest piece of tech you have?
Oldest piece of tech?
Like in your house?
In my house, as far as tech that way?
Yeah, it just doesn't matter if it's a keyboard, computer, laptop.
I don't know. For a long time, I was still using the Apple Airport as my router.
Wow.
Yeah. The time capsule. Yeah. I was using it up until last.
Are they like bad? Are they?
Oh, they've stopped making them like 5 years ago. So.
I know. I still use mine. I still use my AirPod.
Oh no, that's bad. I mean, they're just really slow.
I need to take it off.
They're just really slow, but it's cool. I really love the I was self-hosting my own computer backups. That was like the feature.
Yeah, because you could plug in the back, the USB.
You could plug it. No, but the one they sold a router.
Those were expensive though. You bought one of those?
Yeah, at some point I bought one of them. They sold the router that had like a terabyte drive in it, and you could.
Why didn't you just use a USB one? It's cheaper.
It's too much. This was like plug and play. It just worked. It was cool. Anyway, that's my oldest one. What's your oldest?
Probably my iPod.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like 2000, whatever, 4, 5.
Your original?
Yeah, the one right here in the lab. I have it.
Wow.
It's just
you should put it behind like plexiglass or whatever.
No one's gonna take it.
No, I mean make it like a museum thing because it's so freaking old. It's
it works really well. I listen to it all the time. It's freaking awesome. And then probably like see, like I put that down here. I have an iPod 160 gigabyte classic. Also have my Stacker LN URL in there so I can get zaps. You can switch it over to the photos and then show your LN URL and get zaps. That's what I used to do. Take it to meetups and just get zap right on your iPod. It's kind of cool.
Oh heck yeah! There's a lot of joke ones in here. Undisciplined says indoor plumbing. Heidi says Bitcoin.
I would think people had cameras. Like I feel like you see what CLR says. He goes camera. He has a camera. I would think those are probably still around.
I mean, what's cool, like a lot of the internet protocols. So one of the things I said was TCP/IP because it's like all the internet protocols are like 30 years old and they really haven't changed at all. Yeah. They're just kind of the same. So
I'm trying to see if somebody has a Sony Walkman MP3. This is fun now. With a rock box.
I
Wow.
want to see someone with a Zune. That's when we know.
Oh yeah. I never had a Zune. Good font though. And good
Yeah.
font choice on there.
Yeah, it was stylish.
It was ahead of its time font wise. Let's see. The next top post is don't feel bad about being too late to Bitcoin. This is a Graben post, 35 comments, 3,495 sats. This is a Bitcoin freebie post.
Yeah. So Graben heard about Bitcoin in 2011 from a Slashdot post, and he installed software to start mining Bitcoin. But at that point, apparently, mining at home with your graphics card would only yield 2 Bitcoin a month. So that was not enough. He was like, nope, it's not worth it, because why would I do that? Instead what I'll do is I'll just not mine at all. And now obviously he's posting here to be like, don't regret it. Don't feel bad about it. It is what it is. And, yeah, I think we all have this feeling that we're a little too late, that we missed our moment. It maybe required one too many touch points. We didn't have someone send us Bitcoin for the first time. That's not how we got our first Bitcoin. We had to like encounter it online, and then maybe it's from someone you trust, sort of online. And
yeah, I would say it's like two ways for me. The way I look at it, like, is it too late as far as like stacking Bitcoin and knowing about it, but not really participating in like the circular economy or anything like that? And then there's like, is it too late to like get involved in Bitcoin? Obviously no, right? So I feel like there's two different kind of too lates.
Yeah.
I guess he's talking more about the money aspect of it, right?
Yeah. Like because that's what most people mean. I think when they say too late is like, I should have bought Bitcoin earlier when it was cheaper. Yeah. And now it's so expensive that it possibly can't be worth more money in the future than it already is. It's already so expensive. But we all buy it and hold it thinking that it'll get more expensive. And we're pretty certain it will.
Yeah.
So
I like
silly.
Undisciplined. His comment was, the road to success is paved with failures. Jeez. Some truth there for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Truth there for you.
I mean, what if a road is paved with successes, like why even travel the road? How about that?
Yeah, I think
because you should just stand still and just enjoy your successes.
Let the road come to you, or
the road's already.
Maybe have a flying car. There are no roads.
But then, are you a success or a failure?
Just kidding. I don't know where I was going with that.
I don't know either.
The next top five story is Block's BitKey hardware wallet will violate your privacy and security. Jeez.
Yeah.
This is from Zach Herbert, 12 comments, 2,981 sats. This is a Bitcoin post. Man, it's spicy titles.
It's a very spicy one. I think Zach Herbert might work at Passport. I didn't do any background on him, but I did read the article. It's basically mostly calling out the lack of a screen on Block's BitKey, and then the things that are required on Block's part to make up for the lack of a screen, and how that violates a user's privacy in general. And is a bit salty, a bit sour. I think there might be a little bit of concern with Block coming out with a really polished user experience, and a lot of people use it, not realizing that there might be a more self-sovereign, more private, arguably more secure setup for them to use. And he's kind of upset about that, but it's mostly addressing the lack of a screen. And he also, really interesting, as someone who works at Passport or is one of the founders of Passport, I don't know. He also able to give us an estimate on how much it costs per device to manufacture. And he said he ballparks it around $30 is likely how much it costs for them to make. And he's like, if they're making enough money on exchange fees from the users who have these things, at some point they might just give them away for free. And then at that point, they become the industry leader immediately in terms of hardware wallets, and also multi-sig self-custody stuff. and and then some of his concerns around them being able to track transaction history and stuff, given they're coordinating a lot of things with the server. He said that there'll be like a very centralized repository of customer data and transaction data. There's a lot to this post, obviously, but that's kind of the thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I think I see it two ways, but usually I'm always caught up in this like two ways. Like the first way, obviously, there's a big corner of me that says basically what you're saying. Like, and even Tony says it here in the comments. He goes, "Well spoken." That's my perception of it as well. I get what they're trying to go for, but an illusion of security for those that think it's too hard to be secure is about as best as you can get with BitKey. And illusions of security is a pretty bad place to be in when blankety blank hits the fan. It's a cool attempt, maybe something to use like a tap signer in Quorum, but absolutely not something I would use if it's phoning home. And if everyone was using this, it would be pretty bad. If it was better than being custodial, then maybe it's a weak argument that's not custodial. You're a factor in the entire context of it. So I get that side of it. Like I totally get that side. I think he's right. And I think the OP comes in 100% great point. But there's another side of me that sees this other part. And this is just like seeing it from like Block's perspective. He's done this before. Like this is not like a new territory for Jack. Like look what he did with the original Square and the card reader. Like he used to give those things away. And I'm old enough to remember like that opened up a lot of businesses, small, medium-sized businesses, vendors of all sorts for all sorts of things. And I remember that being huge, it taking off. And then you had Amazon come in at that time and they were trying to replace that. And they were like at a moment, you know the story, Keyan. And so that's what I see here is just a reoccurring that all over again. And maybe that's why he's going in that direction because he knows, hey, it's familiar territory. This is the same way it could probably play out. And that's kind of what I see too. It's like, it's not a bad logical plan if you're looking at it from somebody who's done it before, just in a different aspect, I guess.
That's a really great point. I hadn't actually thought of that this is very similar to Square's original business, which is they're producing a piece of hardware.
It was just for credit cards.
Yeah, that has a software component, but it's like it's very low cost to produce, can be broken and thrown away or whatever, and easily replaced.
Yeah, I was talking to Saru. That's why I was talking to Saru. We talk about this all the time because he's like ex Visa and PayPal and stuff or whatever. And he was telling me, he's like, it's really the LSP. Like that's the game. And the game is that transaction. And he's going to be doing a workshop here pretty soon, talking about all that stuff. But it's like, that's where it really is it all heads. And that's kind of where you see Lightspark doing the same thing, right? It's, yeah. So I see it in that part. And then I see the other part, which is the Bitcoiner in me that's like, oh no, so that's kind of why I'm always torn when I see posts like this. It's just like, yeah. I think I'm somewhere. I think I'm with you and I see both sides to this. I think there is a market for levels of security. I think there's a market for each level of security. And obviously the more sophisticated you are, you want the Graphene OS type solution. You want the super private, no one can kind of spy on your phone type of solution. But then there's a mass market in the middle that wants like the iPhone. And I think this is probably going to serve those people. And I understand it. It definitely shouldn't call itself anything like what something like a Graphene OS version of this would call itself. As the author of that article said, is like it's not a hardware wallet. They're not even calling it a hardware wallet anymore. And I think that's fair. It is something in its own category. He calls it 2FA, which I think is probably like a pretty close approximation of what it is, but that's still pretty, that's good. It's nice that exists for people. It's better than them using a centralized exchange. I'd love to hear like people's thoughts on whether it's better than something like Fedimint, for instance. Is this worse or better? I mean, I guess it's certainly less private than Fedimint, but they're not in custody of stuff. And so I think we're going to get more nuanced products and services in this space as time goes on. You're already kind of seeing it, right? Like with there's going to be different slices and different niches for everybody to fill. And it's just like finding your sweet spot, right? Like I feel like Stacker News, you guys right, you got your sweet spot, just find your sweet spot. That's what I would say.
Find the sweet spot.
And that's the top 5 stories of the week. I'm going to do my top 5 stories. First, I just want to real quick shill this for a second to all the snackers out there. Car's hard at work every week. PlebLab. And we're doing another startup day. So we did a startup day during SatsBuy. It was a lot of fun. Keyan was involved. Dropped some knowledge there for all the people that attended. We're going to be doing another one. And yeah, I just want to share this post. If there's anybody out there that's a builder or has a project that they're looking to get, to get up there as far as like you need a platform to get the word out, definitely check out this blog post, check out the Stacker News post, reach out. Would love to have you here in Austin. So that way you can present. We got some really cool builders coming, Keyan. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm excited, about it.
You're going to be doing a talk with Paul from Mutiny. You too.
That's right. Us too.
That's amazing.
I like talking to Paul. Paul is like, Paul always opens my mind in an interesting way when I talk to him. And that's really, it's not every person that I get that from. So
yeah,
very cool.
It's going to be very cool. The other one is just, this one's for this, because I'm a stacker, this is the one that I was like, whoa. Did you see this one from Nerd to Ninja? This is 4 hours ago. It's a meta post, 11 comments, 1,078 sats. His Twitter and other paywalled or sign up blocked links are spam. And he says, if it has a paywall, why would I tip your post sats? I have to spend that money on the paywall. Even more insulting when it's a fiat paywall rather than a lightning enabled paywall. Twitter has blocked content for people who don't have Twitter accounts. So if you go to Twitter, Keyan, they no longer allow you to see any posts. And so he was kind of talking about it in reference to like, Stacker News does it this way. This is the way to do it. Should we start flagging these Twitter posts? I don't know. What do you think about all this?
Yeah, I don't know. I've been noticing that, Twitter links that get posted to Stacker News are, they like load real slow. And then like a week ago or so, we had an issue with our Twitter login. Like Twitter just suspended us for some reason. I had to like reach out to them to get them to bring it back. And I think there's just a lot of nonsense going on at Twitter right now. And I think this is part of it. I don't think Elon fully understands the business or the market yet. And, or is maybe trying to change it into something that it wasn't, that we've all come to get used to be used to. And that's okay. Maybe that's better. Maybe that's better from a business perspective, but it's making, like, I don't use Twitter anymore, for my personal consumption. I don't have it. I will check it occasionally because people will DM me there, but that's really it. I'm mostly on Nostr and Stacker News. That's pretty much it now.
So Matix in the comments, this is a 50 sat comment. He got, I wonder if there's something bigger play in play. Play in play? Reddit API changes are coming July 1st. He says YouTube is testing blocking users with ad blockers. Twitter doing this now with the API. Dude, I think he's right. I think there's centralization is forming. This is not the first time in history centralization has happened. When the printing press came out, correct me if I'm wrong, Keyan, Stackers, correct me if I'm wrong, but the printing press came out, you had it in China. What happened when the printing press came out in China? It centralized things. Printing press comes out in Europe, decentralizes things a little bit.
I don't know anything about the Chinese history of the printing press. Do you? Do you actually, or you're just saying, I'm saying
this is true. Go look it up. This is why.
All right.
What I'm trying to say is, like, you look at Europe's, I guess you'd call it decentralized. Look at the United States printing press, right? I think the only time we've ever seen, maybe this is me reaching back to my text history. The only time we've ever seen decentralization not work is probably with the Apaches, if I remember correctly.
Whoa, this got interesting. You might know more about history than I do. I don't know anything about Native American history. My wife is like part Native American, but that's not. I wouldn't even guess to know what it was.
I'll leave it there. Stackers, that's your homework this week. Go look up how decentralized.
Did it end well for the Apaches?
Well, no, it's because like you had these centralizing forces, right?
Yeah.
But with them, they were so decentralized. I mean, but the way you got them to become decentralized is you offered them cows, you offered them land, and then they got accustomed to that. And then over time they fall in. That's like that's my biggest fear when it comes to like Bitcoin is like we get too comfortable with the free cows, the free land, the free, all these free fiat things. And we lead us to over time. I mean, it took hundreds of years, but still it's anyway, back to Twitter.
Yeah.
This is a good post. Keep out. I don't know what the deal is. What are you thinking? If these posts just don't load now when they come over, what are you thinking of doing?
I mean, we might remove the preview for it. And then there are people post paywalled links to everything. So to all kinds of sites, but we might just remove the preview and
they just won't get upvoted.
That might be it. And people won't upvote it because they're not able to see the content. And that's how it works with a lot of paywall links people post. And is what it is. Good. Keep up the good work, Elon. You're helping Nostr.
For the record, I've deleted my Twitter, removed myself off Telegram. I'm just on Nostr, Signal, and email these days.
Car's going dark.
No, it's not going dark. It's just that there's nothing on Twitter anymore. Like it's just a blue check, blue check fest.
It is.
I just go to Stacker News for my news now. Everything shows up there and it's better high quality and better conversation anyway. Nostr for the high vibes.
Dude,
what else do you need?
Such high vibes on Nostr.
What else do you need? I don't know.
All right. We ready for the next one? This is my top story of the week. I thought this was a really good article. I always think about this, like why don't we have more decentralized networks? Why don't we have more decentralized protocols? Why aren't they emerging at the rate you'd kind of expect them to? And this is a post from someone who's been working in the space for a long time, and they kind of describe several protocols that they were near or worked on that ended up getting smothered more or less by big tech companies. The first example he starts on is XMPP, which was like a messaging protocol, and it was a federated message, like instant messaging protocol, like MSN, Messenger, ICQ, which I think was more popular in other parts of the world. But it was federated, kind of like Mastodon. Google showed up and they had Gmail, which was like this crazy success. And then they had Google Chat. And then they're like, you know what? We're gonna be compatible with XMPP. And they started supporting XMPP, but they didn't really. They only partially supported XMPP, but because they had so many users relative to XMPP, all of the rest of the XMPP developers and client developers and stuff started to worry about the choices Google was making and make sure they were compatible with Google's Google Chat. And they just basically crowded out all of the regular XMPP users, and it just became only Google Chat users who were using XMPP. And then eventually Google Chat just was like, we're not going to support this protocol anymore. Oh. And that's basically how he describes the death of that protocol. And then he said, similar kind of playbook that more of us might recognize was the Microsoft Office document formats. And
that was a pain in the ass.
Yeah. And how he thinks they pretty intentionally made those formats hard to write in other software and not fully spec out like all the formatting and stuff, so that people would be forced to use Microsoft Office stuff. He calls apparently there's a name for that's called blunting OSS attacks, where you decommoditize protocols and applications by extending these protocols and developing new protocols so that they can deny open source software projects entry into the market. And I thought that was pretty cool. He also links to a book I need to get, but I think it might be called, it's called Rebel Code, where it talks about corporations killing open source and decentralized projects, like kind of a historical account of it.
Yeah, they go right for the force. I mean,
yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting how that works. It's funny that we're talking about decentralization and centralization today. I talk about the Apaches and the Spanish conquistadors.
I mean, you're the only one talking about Apaches or the Spanish conquistadors. I don't know anything about
the printing press. I'm telling you, we've seen this before. It's the world centralizing.
We saw before in China, guys, with the printing press. Don't you guys remember? And they're printing those characters on
centralizing.
It is.
The world is centralizing. It's not a bad thing. It's just we're in the fourth turning, man. This is what it is.
I don't know anything about the fourth turning either. So much I have to learn. So I haven't listened to enough of Marty's podcast. Apparently,
it's out there. It's in the Bitcoin vernacular.
I mean, I know people say it, but I don't know what it means. It's
it's basically what we're living through right now.
Like I dropped my beer,
and someone's like,
it's the fourth turning.
Read the Mandibles? Oh, that was right. Read the Mandibles.
I haven't read the Mandibles. I'll try to read the I listened to Odell's podcast with the Mandibles author, who seems smart. So I'll probably read it. Anyway, this article ends a bit with the modern version of what he thinks is going on, which is Meta is apparently trying to become compatible with Mastodon. And so he thinks what it's actually going, if Meta actually,
Meta as in
Facebook.
Oh, yeah. So tell me about this.
He's basically saying this is a similar situation going on. They're going to come and they're going to smother Fediverse, and it's going to ruin Mastodon and things like it. I guess Fediverse is more diverse than just Mastodon.
So they're going to come give them cows and help them facilitate the growth
back
of Fediverse.
Back to the Apaches. Basically
it works. That works, dude.
I think so. But he has some, and he's mostly like, guys, we're not in this for growth. We're not in this for profit. We're in this for freedom. We're in this for, whatever reason we're in it for, but it's not the things that Facebook is in this for or Google is in this for. And so we just have to remind ourselves of that. And that'll be how we prevent that, like this history from repeating.
That's a great post. You said that, who shared this post? Who was the stacker that shared this? Gotta give him props.
Rsync has,
Rsync's the best.
Rsync has some really good shares.
Pretty based.
Yeah. Very good post. Very, very good read. I recommend it. If
we got Kev in the comments said hi. And then we had Praveen. He said, I have a cousin in Iran who is working on React and Next.js. Really surprised with how things are rolling in. Isfahan told him to look for work that pays in Bitcoin. Well, there you go. See?
Oh, he's in Isfahan. My father's family is from Isfahan.
There you go. You're right here first.
What's up? What's up, Isfahanians? Okay, cool. So those are all of our top stories, I believe. And we usually end it off by doing Super's Super Stat segment, where we cover all the top stackers this week.
He's right there.
He's
working on Bitpack.
Is right over there. He's working on his new project. He's doxed it. Maybe he was going to do it under a NIM. Not anymore.
Was he? Should he?
Yeah. You'll have to tell your sister Katie not to not say anything to anyone.
He wasn't going to do it on that.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, top stackers: Arrow, Bird Eye, Siggy, EK. I call him EK now. Rsync, BitGhouls, Carl Menger, Null Count. Lots of top stackers.
All the top stackers.
All of them. They're all up there. Top spenders. Foundation. They have a job post right now. 02AC, big spender. I don't know what they spent on.
Blockchain Boo.
Joe EK now to Blockchain Boo. Blockstream official. They're doing a Jade promotional situation right now, which is pretty fun.
Jades are getting out there. Huh?
And then our top cowboys.
Cowboy baby.
Top of the cowboy chart now is Siggy 47 after unseating Tony Giorgio, who I think had more for a while. EK also at the top there. Foundation, Orthworm. I'm rising in the ranks again. Excited to see my face.
Somebody shoot that cowboy hat
as a top cowboy. Don't you dare.
Yeah, I got a cowboy. I got a cowboy hat. Let me see. How did I get this one? I like reading the.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know, but that's
cowboy hat isn't just a fashion statement. It's your last defense against the unforgiving elements of the Wild West. Hang on to it tight.
That's right, guys. Don't lose it. When you lose it, it's sad. Ask Tony Giorgio about it.
Oh man, taking shots.
That's right.
We got some boosts. This one's from let's see here. Who was this from? Yeah. Fountain's loading slow. Well, it's not loading. Oh, there it goes. Cool. Got Blockchain Book. He said, Zap. This is from the 73 free barbecue episode. Then we got PS 100 sats. He says, the signal is strong. This is the way. This is also from the free barbecue. And then I forgot to do the one before, the week before. This is from Death or Glory episode. He said, Blockchain Book said, Zap. My condolences, Coob. Right. Death and Glory episode. We had PS. He said, thank you, gentlemen. Cheers. Yeah, so we got stackers in the boost, stackers in the comments.
Stackers all over the place.
Stackers all over the place, man. I think at the end of the day, I think the stackers are they're gonna rule the world.
They should. They should rule the world. Imagine that world. Everyone
world.
just...
You have your own cow, you have your own land, you have your own sats, you have your own stacker news.
Cars like live fantasizing about being an Apache Indian right now.
Dude, yeah, look up the Apaches, man. It's incredible, dude. They couldn't stop them. It's like you had you had all sorts of people trying to attack their thing, and they couldn't. It was like Bitcoin. It was unstoppable.
That's
really
right.
Fascinating.
Being Apache Indian.
That's right. You didn't learn this stuff in Texas history. Or no, you were not in Texas. You didn't have Texas history.
No. I mean,
I
didn't
California history.
I didn't really go to school. I think so. We did like a lot of gold rush stuff. That's what I remember. But
yeah, we learned about a lot of Indian stuff. It was really cool.
Yeah, we didn't have that. We did a lot of Spanish missions. We did a lot of those. Yeah.
Anyways, that's all we got for this week. Stackers. Keyan, what are you doing this weekend?
What am I doing this weekend? I'll probably work, and then.
Are you going to go to the birthday thing?
Oh, there's a birthday thing. I'll probably go to that.
This is the third birthday this week in Austin.
Yeah, it's crazy. What are all these? What's everyone's sign for this week? What is the?
This
is this Leo?
No, this is Cancer. Yeah,
Cancer. Okay,
there you go.
Cool. Lots of cancers. Cool. Yeah, I'll probably go. You're gonna go. I bet you'll go.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Should be a lot of people there. That's what I'm doing. Sunday, I think. Do some laundry maybe.
All right. Well, that's it, stackers. I hope you have a great weekend.
All right. See you later, stackers. Have a great weekend.
Zap.